The college basketball experience, Saturday, February 8th, pregame show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with that promo code TCESGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports gambling transactions. Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome to the college basketball experience pregame show for Saturday, February 8th. The slate is loaded. I've slept 2 hours and change. What could go wrong? What could go right? YouTube.com/the college experience. Get on over there. Hit that like and subscribe button because we're building a goddamn army. Let's go. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Woo! I mean, last night we only did a 4-hour fucking show, which is about the most unstructured show. But we did give out winners. Somewhere along the lines, we gave out winners for today. I know yesterday with that 7-game slate was absolute bullshit. I am joined by my co-host. It's Saturday morning. You know who the hell is here. He's the host of the NBA Gambling Podcast, the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Check out all of his work with betting pros as well. Give it up for the great Terrell Furman, a.k.a. The Villain. How are you, my friend? Good morning.
I wish I could be better. I mean, one of the worst cold streaks of my life going on this past week. Feel like I can't hit a bet. So tread cautiously. Tread cautiously here. It might be painful.
It happens to us all. But I think, let me think if I know the way out of this. If I think I know the way out of this, we got if I had, my first thought was, is Shaka smart favorite? I don't think he is. I think Creighton is favored as Marquette. So you're getting Shaka as a dog. Now I gave away and I bet last night at 5:30 in the fucking morning. I bet Creighton because Creighton and Omaha never loses, but maybe that was a mistake by me because Shaka as a dog is normally fire.
Yeah. And this is a really, really big game in the Big East. I mean, St. John's has now pulled away with a comfortable lead with 1 loss in the Big East, but it's not over yet. And anything can happen. And so Marquette and Creighton both want power. They both want the ability.
It's a huge game for each team here to stay in that race.
Yeah. Really, really big game to stay into it. So I think it's going to be a good one regardless. I mean, this might be a lock on the Creighton side of things. Failing anything that I have going on, but it's Shaka as a dog. I can never.
Shaka as a dog is normally fantastic. Now I will say Creighton at home is also normally fantastic. They lose like 1 game a year, and that shit already happened in November or December against Nebraska. But I mean, I laid the points there. I think Mac laid the points too, but I think that game is just this is the biggest game in the Big East. Because the loser is going to basically be, in a way, you could kind of say eliminated. If not technically, but you're counting on St. John's to lose multiple games then on that final stretch. So,
Yeah.
Joey Lobster, shout out to Joey Lobster in the chat saying he likes Shaka today. Yeah, well, Shaka as a dog historically is a good play, but also, like I said, Creighton and Omaha historically is a great play as well.
Yeah.
The game's tipping off in 53 minutes. Kentucky has hit a cold spell. They've lost back-to-back games. They come back home. Lamont Paris and South Carolina, who have found
Do
a way
they
to
still
lose
not have a
every
win?
game. Yeah.
Do they still not have a win in the
I
SEC?
bet South Carolina today, just because I think the line is not at like that. They're in every fucking game for the most part. I guess at Mississippi State they got blown out. Like occasionally they'll get blown out, but most of these losses are like by one possession. I took the Gamecocks plus the 10.5. Any interest on Pete's taking the he says the over 151. Obviously, with the way Kentucky can score, that makes a lot of sense. The last time they played, South Carolina won. Now that Mark Pope wasn't even there, so I don't even know how relevant it is for me to bring that up. What are you doing here?
Super concerning, especially because last time they went on the road, they lost by 11 in Georgia. And, that was a game that you thought they could be competitive. They might be able to sneak a first win there type thing. So up and down on the road is South Carolina. I would have loved this a lot more if it was at home. I'm not certain if I'm all the way here on the South Carolina side. They're competitive in a lot of those games, but those are the ones at home. They went on the road at Oklahoma, lost by 20, went on the road at Georgia and lost by 11.
Yeah. I mean, I took South Carolina there, but
you gave Kentucky a little bit more credit. They lost 4 of their last 5 games, with the only one being the win against Tennessee.
Yeah,
they're just not in good form right now.
Yeah, and I don't see Kentucky like Mark Pope's done a great job in year 1, but I don't see them as some gigantic powerhouse this year. Now they're still going to be a tournament team. They're still good. I don't like them laying double digits against anybody in the SEC. So
and then who's slowing down Murray Boyles today, and getting what's the guard name? Jameer Thomas, I think that's his name.
Yes.
Yeah, getting him back a couple of games ago, really big for South Carolina. And I thought they were going to be playing a little bit better, and they did. They really were competitive in that Texas A&M game. Yeah, I'll go with South Carolina plus the points because they got their guard back. By the way, Greensboro, North Carolina, shout out to the 336. Greensboro, North Carolina guard is Jamari Thomas. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and back South Carolina. Those are my guys, but it doesn't feel good because Kentucky really, really needs this game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you too, though. Kentucky wins by 4, something like that. 6. Now, if you want me to go chalk in the SEC, it's right here. I think Tennessee minus 5.5 in Norman is my play. I know, both teams, very good defensive teams. But
I think I want to start a petition.
What is that petition?
For Oklahoma to fire Porter Moser and send him back to Loyola Chicago with Sister Jean.
I've already figured out if Valentine doesn't get fired from Loyola, Butler might fire Thad Matta, and he's going to end up at one of those damn schools. Or if Anthony Grant takes the Miami job, Porter Moser might be at Dayton. Or Oklahoma.
We got to get him. We got to get him out of the SEC. He's got to go back to a small conference. When he gets back to a small conference, little expectation. That's where he goes and he starts knocking off powerhouses.
Yeah, no,
I'm all over Tennessee here. All over Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee is still a top 10 defensive team and 45th in the nation in offensive rating. The way that they protect the basketball, 39th in taking care of the ball. To me, all the difference in this one. So on the Vols, the number is a little surprising, but I still think the Vols are the play.
I wonder is Ziegler playing today?
He played the last game, so I'm seeing him playing as far as on the injury report I'm looking at. So
all right, cool.
at noon. I love Iowa State to just beat the piss out of TCU. I'm laying that big ass number. Iowa State's lost back-to-back games. I'm sorry, 3 straight. Back to the Caleb Love 60-footer. TCU to me is one of the worst teams in the Big 12. They're coming off a gigantic win. They got to go into Hilton Coliseum. Obviously, Frankie Collins is out for the season with the foot injury. I think Iowa State, who's 11-1 at home, and TCU 1-5 on the road. I think they're going to win by like 28 points, 30 points. So lay that big number in Ames at Hilton. I don't know if you have a strong play on this, but I kind of think this is just one of the better plays.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Iowa State, this is a really big bounce back spot. 3 straight losses for them, like you said. But and TCU coming off back-to-back wins here. And for a TCU team that is 8-14 against the spread, 2-6 against the spread on the road. They have 1 road win this season. They're not even competitive in a lot of these games. Lost 58-85 to UCF on the road. Lost 57-71 at Texas Tech on the road. Lost by 13 against Kansas at home here. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that this is a masterclass of Iowa State just getting it done here. So I like the Farm Boys to do it. Lay the big number here. Here we go. First one of the day. Let's see how it goes. I'm ready to lock it up.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Lock it up. Clones, big.
I don't know how TCU is going to score today. That's really it. I don't know how TCU is going to score.
Yeah, this is like the worst TCU team in like 5 or 6 years, I feel like. But the chat, I'm going to push forward to help out the chat here. Pitt at North Carolina. Joe Lenardi. I don't know how he had both teams right there to make the NCAA tournament, but it's a huge game going on at Chapel Hill. If Pitt wants any chance of making the NCAA tournament,
guy.
Yeah, I always think these numbers, the more that gets revealed in football, the more I think all of it is just one big gigantic fucking Ponzi scheme. You know what I mean? To get the big brands into the tournament. The Dean Center the Dean Dome will be rocking today, but Carolina is laying 4.5. I think I saw last, or 4. You see this? Why am I not seeing the?
4.5.
Yeah, I went with the Tar Heels. I just thought they're in the way more desperate spot. The home crowd behind them. Remember, the last time they played was that Duke game where they got embarrassed. And Pitt to me has just been a team that's been ass really, especially on the road this year. So Pitt beat them. That was a very close game at Pitt. I was on Carolina. I lost that game, and Carolina's defended home court well. They're 8-2 at home this year. So one of those was a crazy buzzer beater by Stanford that got them. So yeah, I'm going to lay the 4 with the Tar Heels there. I know they're your team. Any chance you're betting your Heels?
No shot. I'll take them. I'm not betting this. There's no way I'm laying points with this Carolina team. Yeah, no way. Absolutely not. And I have the thought of, Pitt won the first meeting, hard to win, back-to-back, split, but like Carolina can win this game by 3 or 2. Like, and that's still a win, and they're going to be very, very happy about it. And I'm not going to cover the bet. I'm not laying points with Carolina. There's no reason. The late game execution isn't there for me to feel good about them finishing strong. Even if they have a lead, they could potentially have a lead, blow it in the end, and then end up winning by 2-3 points. I'm in a cold streak. There's a lot better things I could do with my money than bet them on the Tar Heels right now.
Yeah. All right, now that was for the chat. Chat asked that one. That's why I brought it up. But back to the noon slate, Oregon at Michigan State. I know this is one of the stupid Big Ten games, but this one actually is somewhat appealing to me. Probably just because it's Dana Altman against Tom Izzo. Both these guys kind of coaching legends. Michigan State played them in 2022 in a home and home, I believe, and won by 4. Sparty's 11-0 at the Breslin Center this year. Oregon's been all over the place, man. They look like shit recently, but you can go back to the beginning of the year where Oregon, they beat Oregon State, they beat Texas A&M, they beat San Diego State, they beat Alabama. They've had some moments this year. Beat Maryland, who's been hot this year. But they've been all over the place. They've lost to I think 5 of 6.
Last 3 road games haven't gone their way either.
I kind of think they're staying in this number though. I just think this is a I don't like Izzo laying this many points. So I think like this is one where Michigan State probably wins this game by 5 and Oregon's getting that cover. And I will say this, Oregon's in a much more desperate spot here. Oregon wins this game, they're back in the mix. So I'm going with the Ducks. Quack, quack. I did bet this too. What are you doing here?
Give them Michigan State. I just think they're the more composed, better team. This is the best squad Izzo's had in years. And I think it's enough to be able to pull away with this line. It's closer towards the end. It looks like it had some movement too, so you probably want to try to find the best number you can. But I think that defensively, Michigan State at home is just way too much for Oregon. And for an Oregon team that hasn't been able to figure it out on the road, last time out, lost to Michigan 80-76, and that was the competitive game. I think that was the competitive game that they have in Michigan, and this one is the one where Michigan State typically pulls away a little bit more. Went on the road, UCLA and Minnesota, and couldn't get it done. Didn't even come close in those games. So I'm not backing Oregon on the road here.
Yeah. Seton Hall, Georgetown, tipping off in just about 40 minutes. Both teams not going to go to the dance. I mean, I guess Georgetown's alive to make a run. Ed Cooley's got that team, to me, more talented than they've been in a while. Jaden Epps is a game time decision. Adewusu is a game time decision also for Seton Hall. 10.5 is the line. I stayed away from this 1-point game on December 22nd. Georgetown escaped. This one's in DC, where they've been playing good. Seton Hall is 0-7 on the road. I know Mac loves Shaheen Holloway and the Pirates here. I think he convinced me to take the points, but I'm not betting this game. What are you doing here?
I mean, you don't ever want to lay double digits with Georgetown, especially in recent years of this Georgetown program.
Yeah.
But that's how bad this Seton Hall team is.
They've kind of become like Miami, where they're like, it seems like they've kind of quit.
Yeah, like that's just how bad.
I feel bad,
really
dude. I think Holloway's a good coach. It's their NIL collective. You got other coaches calling that shit out.
The only game they were competitive recently was the Providence game. That was at home. They still ended up blowing it. I think that was the game where they said, "All right, you know what? This season's over. We quit." Like that Providence game where it was close at home, still ended up getting the loss. I think that's it. It's really, really hard to take Seton Hall here. They can't score. They're really, really struggle scoring the basketball. I'm going with Georgetown laying 10.5, but I haven't gotten there on that just because I can never put money on Georgetown laying double digits. But
yeah,
Seton Hall is really, really bad right now, guys.
This is my favorite play for like the early slate. This one, the game's starting at 1:00. Texas is heading into Nashville to take on Vanderbilt. Caden Shedrick, the former UVA big man for Texas, is a game time decision. Tremont Mark is out. I think Vanderbilt is in the much more desperate spot to make the NCAA tournament. I fully expect Vanderbilt to win this game. Byington's laying 2.5, and I'm sorry, Vanderbilt and Mark Byington are laying 2.5. I don't think Texas is that good, really, and I also think are they really getting up for a game at Vanderbilt when they have Alabama on deck? I got the doors rolling in this. Probably my favorite morning game, I would say. Even though I know it's afternoon, but for the early slate, I think Vanderbilt minus 2.5 is the play. As Matt says, they're desperate. If they're going to make the NCAA tournament, you got to win this fucking game. So let's go, Vandy. Lock it up. Alabama on deck for the Horns. What are you doing here?
I hope they're not looking ahead to Alabama because they're going to get smashed regardless. So I hope you put all your attention into the game that you actually could possibly win. And I do think there is a possibility for them to get this one, but I do like that Vandy team. I like them at home. Texas has been underwhelming to say the least on the road. But what I will give Texas credit for is that they've been covering the line, and they've been really, really good at covering the number and keeping games that are supposed to be close. And that's the concern here. Vanderbilt's defense is horrible at defending the three. So if you are on the other side and you're saying, hey, Texas has a chance, it's going to be because of that 3-point shooting. And if they just shoot the hell out of the ball on the road in this game, then I think that they keep this one close and potentially get a win. But it's too much for me. I'm going to take the better offense here that is more consistent overall in Vanderbilt. I like Vanderbilt to get it done.
Let's go, Doors. This is a big rivalry game. If you don't know the history of college basketball here, Michigan, Indiana, big rivalry game, and Michigan's laying 2.5 in Bloomington. Mike Woodson fired, but not fired, but fired. I didn't know what to do with this game. You got Dusty May, who's an Indiana, who's wanted to been an Indiana Hoosier fan his whole life, from the state. A lot of rumors saying he's going to be the next coach at Indiana. He's coaching Michigan right now. I don't know what the buy-in will be from the players' point of view after this news is announced. Do they get up? Do they just kind of pack it in? So I took the Hoosiers in the points, but I'm not betting this fucking game. What are you doing here?
Betting Mike Woodson right now.
That's a rule, right?
I mean, it feels kind of yucky. I'm not gonna lie. They have 4 straight losses. Although somehow
Michigan, this game will be lit. The fans still hate Michigan.
What's Michigan's road record? Oh, Michigan's 4-2 on the road too.
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't know. Michigan isn't looking like Michigan hasn't. I don't think Michigan has looked the best. I think they're just doing enough to get a win. And this line is really, really short. Like if you told me this was 6, I'd be like, okay, I could see it. Yeah. But Michigan really does skate by the skin of their teeth getting these wins. I understand your thought process. It's just a short margin to play with. I don't know. I ain't got nothing to lose. It's not like my bets are hitting anyway. Give me the Indiana Hoosiers plus the points.
Let's go. I asked this question on the show, and I would like a show last night, but granted, we were 3 white people talking. Wisconsin is at Iowa. How many black people watch this game, Terrell? You think? If you're not, if you don't have family somehow connected, like. Yeah. Like my nephew is playing.
I don't have any reason. I really don't have any reason.
I would love to know the numbers. Give me the Nielsen ratings on how many black people watch Wisconsin at Iowa. I'd be surprised if it was more than 7. Nationwide.
I'll tell you what, way less that voted for the president in the last election. I will tell you that. Way less than that. So yeah, I am very, very weak thinking
what
about
would it
this
take
game.
for you to watch this game?
Also because Wisconsin and Iowa, I'm pretty sure they used to play this game like last game of the year on like some random Sunday where there's like, the last game of the Big Ten season. There's like 10 games on total, and it's a random Sunday, and you got Wisconsin and Iowa.
They try to force this on you, right? They're because at that point you're like you're fully on to college hoops. You're like, oh yeah, hell yeah, man, fucking Big Ten, let's go. Then you get this. I mean, this game is on NBC, by the way, nationally televised. See, they're forcing it again. Why is this getting national TV
trying to make
here?
People watch the Wisconsin and Iowa game. Oh my God, Kobe. Hey,
Wisconsin's laying 5.5. I'm taking the point. Always take the points. Always take the points in this game, as far as I'm concerned. What are you doing here?
I think I like the points too. I think I'll take the points too. I think this is these two teams are actually a little bit more comparable than people think, and I'm not sold on that Wisconsin team. I think that they run a slow pace and the scoring is inconsistent at times for them. And they have the big scoring game where they kind of dominate a game, but then they also like really can look out there and just look like they lost the air out of the basketball at times, even in a win. So yeah, I haven't felt good about the Wisconsin team, but Iowa is just but I was at home and that's enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This next one I did bet Kansas State, and
The too many white guys rule. You guys are hilarious.
too many. Yeah. Well, look, if these episodes have been on our podcast have been very. We found out last night that Mac has never actually placed a wager on a black coach. And Kansas State.
Somebody said anti-DEI basketball forced down our throats. This is DEI basketball, actually. If you want to talk about what they claim DEI is, this is it right here. We're making it more inclusive by inviting white people to have their own game.
The chat's great. Chat the past 2 days has been on one. Kansas State.
Boo.
Dude, K-State's playing great ball right now.
No, fuck K-State.
They're playing. I'm on K-State, dude. I think
Whatever.
this is the play. I
right.
battled Mac here. You're on. It's not like Kansas has looked great.
I mean, yeah, but Kansas, but bro, we've been on this stretch with K-State where they were horrible, and now we're gonna give them a pass because they look good for a week. They were horrible for the whole year, and they look good for a week, and we're gonna forgive them.
Yeah.
No way. Fuck that. I'm not forgiving Kansas State.
Jerome Tang is 2-0 at home against Kansas. All right.
Damn.
2-0 at home against Kansas. Sunflower Showdown. This shit matters in that state. So
Kobe, they've been horrible.
They're hot right now, dude. They just won in Tempe.
No, I get it. Oh my gosh, we've been through a whole season of watching Kansas State suck, and then they come and turn it on for a week and a half, and now we're all back.
Oh yeah, let's go. Telling
it's too short. It's too short of a line for me because I still think Kansas gets the win. It's too short of a line for me. I'm taking Kansas. This could be really bad.
Texas A&M's at Missouri. This is an interesting game to me. A&M, the most experienced team in the SEC, currently sitting at 5th place. Missouri in 4th place, so gigantic game in that regard. Missouri's been kind of one of the best stories in college hoops. I think a lot of people didn't realize how good this team was, and Dennis Gates got them playing good. And last time they played, A&M won by 19, but Missouri was a disaster last year. Missouri's 15-0 in Columbia this year. A&M's 3-3 on the road. They've hit rough seas on the road there. 4.5 is what Mizzou's laying. I took A&M in the points, but I think Mizzou may escape with the win here. I think it's going to come down to a final possession or two, and I think Mizzou with the home crowd behind them is what I'm trusting. What are you doing here with the buzzsaw in Columbia?
The buzzsaw. Kramer would be very disappointed if I didn't back the buzzsaw here, especially as a dog. Like, this is one of the things. Talk about Shaka as a dog. Buzz Williams as a dog is really good as well, and able to come through and cover a line for us. I think this can be a close game. This is a really important game too. That I wouldn't be surprised if this came down to a last-second shot, Kobe, and we see the court storm there in Mizzou. I think that it would be very warranted. Getting a win over Texas A&M in basketball is like, is a pretty big deal here. When was the last
top 25 team too? So yeah,
you got to go back to 2022, the last time that they got a win over Texas A&M. Like, that's the last time they got a win over them. So, and I'd have to go back even further to tell you when's the last time they got a win at home. So yeah, I really do kind of want to lay the points, but I'm with you. I think this is a closer game. And I could see this being a one-score game with free throws late, pushing this to 4, and we cashed 4.5. So line's gotten too big for me. If this was still at 2.5, I would take Mizzou, but 4.5 feels like a little bit much. I'll take Texas A&M.
Lock?
Is the Buzzsaw good? I mean, the Buzzsaw has been getting it done in Mizzou years past. This is a different team.
Yeah.
Let's see. He was okay. No, so in 2023, he was in Mizzou as a 2.5-point dog and got a win by 9.
They were good in 23 as well. Like Mizzou was. In 24 is when they were
Mizzou was a
bad.
2.5-point favorite, enough to be a 2.5-point favorite. Yeah, you know what? Buzzsaw's a dog. I'm in a cold streak. Lock up.
Terrell Furman Jr. Lock it up. A&M. I think I may join. I don't know. I'll definitely take picking the points, but I don't know because there's another SEC game out there going on a few minutes later.
I kind of do want Missouri to win, but I don't know. Buzz really gets up for spots like this.
Yeah, no, I mean you gotta like the veteran angle of that A&M team. You gotta like that, you know. And you could say, well, Dundee, they're 3-3 on the road. Well, fucking Wade Taylor was out some of those games. He's their best player. That's fair. Florida, Auburn, number 6 at number 1. The Gators are catching 9.5 points in the jungle. Terrell, am I an idiot for taking Florida plus 9.5 because I did?
I ain't gonna call you an idiot, but what I will say is Auburn is really, really good at home.
I know. I just thought though, you know, they've been rolling at home. They're just due for like, I mean, I guess Tennessee played them close, but that's another. Tennessee is a top 10 team. You know, I think the Gators with Walter, and I waited to see if Walter Clayton Jr. was going to play. He's going to play apparently.
He is.
That's what I saw. So I mean, I saw a tweet covering that. So, I don't know if that's actually been official on ESPN, but yeah. Look, I think Florida can do some damage here. They're the better rebounding team. They're 3rd in the nation in offensive rebounding. They're 3rd in the country in rebounding as a whole. Auburn back at 34th. I think there's an edge there. I know that Jungle's energy is a real thing, but Florida's the better defensive team, and
that's really it.
Travel. Yeah.
That's really it for me. If Florida's defense can come in here and not let them go nuclear from 3, Auburn, one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league, 37.3%. But Florida is one of the best defending teams in the league on the perimeter, holding teams to under 30% from the field out there. So if Florida can go out there and Florida can play really, really good defense overall, they do have the free throw edge as well. Like, I think they can make this a competitive game. I do think on a neutral court, I like this to be a close game. It's just, it gets really, really scary there in Auburn. So I'll take the points.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like this. I like the pause that taking the points with Florida and Fate and Auburn at home gives me. But like you said, top 10 team. Last time they played top 10 team, Tennessee, it was close. So
yeah. Wake Forest, your boys. They're on the West in a classic conference game against Cal.
Nice rivalry spot there.
Was watching
how many all-time meetings between these two teams?
Yeah, this is probably the first.
Yeah, we'd be surprised if this is the first.
Joe Lenardi in the middle of what game was that last night? I think it was the Dayton game. Dayton VCU. Was ESPN halftime show. He had Wake as his final team in the NCAA tournament. And he said they got a nice schedule. He thinks they're going to make the NCAA tournament. And I said, I know Wake Forest. They're going to lose this game at Cal. So I will take Cal plus 120 on the money line. I also think it's just a strange spot for them. You telling me they feel good going into the Haas Pavilion, the legendary Haas Pavilion? I think this is a tougher game than, say, taking on a lot of their other ACC foes. Just because it's that weird game. You're not familiar with your opponent, really. Yeah, I think it's a decent spot for Cal. What are you doing here?
And they just came off of the win against Stanford. out there, and I think that's probably where a lot of this line movement is coming from. They just got the win. You feel good about them playing on the West Coast now, but it's that second game. It's the second one that catches you. I'm with you. I think taking the points with Cal here is pretty good play. Cal's really good ATS. Yeah, Wade has caught fire recently, but I think this is a nice little letdown.
There we go. Shout out to Ryan Moses giving us $5, and shout out to Virgil on your lunch break. There you go, man. Appreciate that.
Shout out to Ryan giving us $5 and not saying anything, just dropping
I know,
$5.
just saying, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Love the show. All right. I was about to say, yo, Ryan just dropped $5 and just dipped on out. Like, appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Ryan, man. Appreciate the whole chat. You guys make it really fun. This is a rather, well, I guess we should get to some of these gigantic games. Duke is at Clemson. Clemson's getting, this line has dropped 2 points since yesterday. Mason Gillis is a game time decision with an illness, but the Blue Devils, I mean, Clemson, first off, coming off of a home loss to Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty baffling loss there,
bro. That's what Georgia Tech does. We talked about it last time. We just got it on the wrong game. I think we were talking about Georgia Tech one of these days, but that's what they do. They go catching some crazy number on the road and then they get a win. I'm thinking nothing of the Georgia Tech loss because literally Georgia Tech does that to everybody. They did to Duke, like they do that to everybody.
Yeah. And then like that's a fascinating because Duke's 7-0 on the road. Now you can they have the longest win streak in America, 16 straight games. This place is going to be itching to be stormed. You know, this place is going to be just ready to roll.
Yeah, it's going to be rocking.
They're definitely going to stay at least within the number.
And I think that Duke in late game situations where the game is really, really close is there's something missing there that I just don't like. And they're going to force the ball to Cooper Flag. And if you can get him into a position to turn the ball over in a late game situation, you kind of feel really good about your chances. He's still a really, really young player, talented, amazingly talented player, but still really, really young in the decision-making process, especially with the game on the line on the road. Yeah, I think this is a close one. Give me Clemson plus the points, and I will lock this up.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say, like, other than that early season matchup in Tucson where Duke did put it on Arizona, I this is the toughest road game they've played. At Wake would be their other one, and they only beat Wake by 5. So yeah, I'm with you. Give me Clemson plus the points. Yeah, I did bet this last night, but 5.5. I still would take Clemson the points.
Clemson's almost shooting 80% from the free throw line.
Yeah, I just think the home crowd, like Clemson, you want to play yourself back into the mix after an embarrassing home loss. Duke might not even be fully ready to go with fully healthy with some stuff up in the air with Gillis. And I just feel like as much as I was on the show giving Shire credit the other day for the job he's doing, but these road spots at Syracuse, team that's 10-13, at Wake, which they almost lost, at Boston College, at SMU, at Georgia Tech. Now at Louisville was a good win, but they caught Louisville early into the Pat Kelsey era back in early December before they had really gotten it going. So the road schedule to me hasn't been that daunting. Louisville, you could say their fans show up, sure. But I don't think that Louisville team, go back and look in November and December, they were not the same team as we saw them to be later. Kind of fascinated by this game though. And double lock on Clemson. We got some big ones like Alabama heading into red hot Arkansas. Calipari, has he found the juice again? Is he back to where this team is a threat not only to make the NCAA tournament, but a threat to take down some of the better teams within the conference? Nate Oates, obviously coming off the Final Four run, number 3 in the nation, veteran team, Grant Nelson, Mark Sears, just a fun team. Bama laying 4.5. Shout out to Son of Pete giving us $50. saying, I just realized I smile more in this hour than I do otherwise all week. Thank you. Hey, that's a great,
Hey, appreciate it.
that.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
that was a great
Yeah.
compliment. Holy crap.
Yeah. I'm
My
very
heart.
grateful for you, Son of
Yeah.
Pete. Glad we can provide that. I took Arkansas on the points, but I didn't bet this game because it seems I don't have a good feel for this game. I can see Bama winning by 20. I could also see Arkansas
Yeah,
continuing
because
on this journey.
if I go on another game missing Arkansas money line, I'm gonna be really pissed at myself. But it's also this is Bama. Like there's a different level of competition. I understand Arkansas is hot. They've won 3 of the last 4, but I think there's a different level of competition from beating Georgia, even Kentucky at this point in time. Because I think Bama is significantly better than Kentucky and Texas than going and trying to beat the number 3 team in the country.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't have I'm staying away from this fucking bet. This place is gonna be bananas though. After those past wins against Texas, which is an old school
Yeah, they're
Southwestern
back.
Conference
They've
rival.
been talking
Yeah.
about it all week. We're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
I,
Oh man, this is a tough one.
they've
I'm
won
not
3
gonna
of
lie.
4 and they were ass before that. Yeah, I mean, give me the Razorbacks and the points. No bet. Just want to watch it.
I'm gonna take the points, but yeah, I'm gonna have to be a spectator on that one.
Yeah, Joey, that's at 8:30 tonight Eastern time. At that same very time, no, we don't need to talk about Ole Miss at LSU. This line stinks though. Ole Miss is laying 5.5. I took LSU on general principle of this line just being. I actually bet this, just because I don't understand how they came up with this number. So Ole Miss is laying 5.5. It's Vegas is telling you, I think, that LSU is going to win this game or at least cover this game. I don't. Like I said, I didn't have this one circled as one of the games I really wanted to watch coming into the Saturday. But the line, anyway, I compute this. I can't get to why the fuck is this 5.5 points. Yeah, Trevor in the chat, LSU outright. That's what I'm with you. I took a flyer on that.
It feels like that's the stinky
Yeah.
play. You know, we talk about the stinky plays of the weekend. It seems like that's one of them. Like, do I really want to back this LSU team? No, but should Ole Miss be leaning in bigger numbers? Should this be no question to bet Ole Miss? Probably, but it's always that hinted out there, and I think it's the scoring. And if LSU can just turn it on for a game, then they can really make it out of here. Like if this gets to be an ugly game and you let LSU hang around, you know, the ball was going to eventually bounce their way.
Yeah. Let's go. Load up on these Tigers. We Tigers on this podcast. So I love a lot of the late night games for this slate. And a lot of it has to do. So UTEP, a lot of people don't know the Battle of I-10, UTEP and New Mexico State's like a legit rivalry. They fucking hate each other. New Mexico State knocked off UTEP as like a 7.5 point dog, something like that, in El Paso earlier in the year. And the minute that happened, because they went in there and fucked them up, they won by like 25 points or something. I circled the revenge game. I was like, UTEP, because UTEP is the better team. Joe Golding, who took remember ruined Shaka Smart's tenure at Texas, with Abilene Christian knocking them off. UTEP's going to go into Las Cruces and fucking like I had this one circled. They're going to go in there and win this game. I feel very good about this. UTEP jumps in there. It's not a big line. I think they're getting 1.5, but I just feel like that's the play. Normally, how it goes in this rivalry, I feel like. But there's so many of these late night games, Terrell. There's this here. How about this? See, how when's the last time you saw San Diego State as a dog in conference play? Not often. They're catching 2.5 in Fort Collins against Colorado State. I just can't. I can't take Colorado State. I know there's altitude. I know they're 9-2 at home. I know Medved's got this team improved from what we saw a couple months ago. But San Diego State is San Diego State, man. And to me, they're still the 11th ranked defense in the country. I'm gonna take a flyer on San Diego State. It's a little stinky though, but Colorado State's been fire at home, so maybe that's the angle. I love
I
that.
mean, last year they got the win at home, laying 2.5 here. So same spot. San Diego State's been able to win in San Diego State. Colorado State was able to get that win at Colorado State. That's how it's kind of been recently. So it may be some home cooking here for Colorado State.
Yeah, I mean, and so then you have San Francisco, who hadn't beaten St. Mary's in like 4 or 5 years, I thought it was. Huge rivalry. Moraga to San Francisco is nothing. They just beat them by 1 at home, but now they go to Los Angeles to take on Loyola Marymount, who's been all over the place this year. Typical LMU team over the past couple of years. I think it's a horrible spot for San Francisco. I think LMU is live plus 150 on the money line.
Got any Lepepe making a comeback?
He's playing pro in Australia.
He's not coming over making a comeback.
There was speculation the NBA wanted him, and he said no.
I'm
Fuck
good.
it.
I'm good.
Fuck it. I'm Australian. I'm playing for my country. Dude, I just think, and then let me throw in another one. St. Mary's, who just lost by 1, is in Corvallis taking on Oregon State, who's been fire at home this year, 14-1.
That might be the dream crusher game for St. Mary's right there.
I think I'm with you, man. Oh, that's what I'm saying.
That might be the dream crusher game of, all right, we just lost by 1. Let's go back. We're going back on the road here. We can bounce back and run this back again. And Oregon State just puts it on them. That is when I feel comfortable, because Oregon State is not bad. Very good team. They're 14-1 against the spread at home, by the way. They've absolutely completely been getting it done against whoever has been coming their way. So I think that's one that I think I'm going to lock up there, Kobe. Oregon State plus 4.5 at home for a team that's 14-1 against the spread at home this season. And you're going up against St. Mary's, who, yes, they just lost to San Francisco on the road. They're probably thinking, oh, we're going to bounce back. And this is the dream crusher spot where they lose 2 in a row.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Give me Oregon State too. I actually like the spots in a lot of these. Like, I think San Francisco's doomed in LA against LMU. I think St. Mary's is doomed against Oregon State. And by the way, if Oregon State wins that game, Gonzaga then controls their destiny, I believe, providing they don't lose. It'll be a fascinating race down the stretch here. I also, just to give out the number, I like Santa Barbara to put it on Hawaii tonight too. And then the big one of the big ones to end the night, Texas Tech is at Arizona. Arizona's laying 2.5.
I'm so fucking tired of this Arizona team.
I'm taking Arizona. I think Texas Tech is sitting there. They won 7 or 8 in a row, including that huge one at Houston a week ago. I know Arizona's won 5 in a row, but I just feel like Texas Tech is due. I went with the Cats minus 2.5 there. Another thing is Toppin's a game time decision. I expect him to play, but yeah, this is a great game. Texas Tech's 5-0 on the road. Arizona's 10-1 at home. Their only loss being to Duke.
Yeah, I'll take Arizona.
Let's go.
The chat was very bad betting Arizona.
Yeah, the chat was asking also, and I feel like we should bring up Mississippi State's at Georgia. Big game in the SEC. Georgia's laying 1.5. I actually want Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State's a team that plays super elite defense and can lock them down. Chris Jan's coach teams. Believe it or not, Mississippi State's offense has been much better this year. But I didn't bet this because they've been all over the fucking place. Mississippi State has been all over the place this year. Georgia is 13-1 at home this year, but I don't know if you have a play on that. The chat's also Mason, who's in first place in the A10, hosting Rhode Island. Their only loss, Mason's only loss within the A10 is to Rhode Island up in Kingston. Is there a chance of the sweep?
Nope. Not in, I don't think so. Not in Virginia. Yeah.
Another one, I guess the chat was talking SoCon, Samford at ETSU. The SoCon has a bunch of great games today. The obviously Citadel VMI is a legit rivalry in that conference. And then Furman, Chattanooga. We just blindly got to take Furman because you're on the show.
Yep. Pretty much.
They're catching 4.5. I did take Furman. I like Samford to beat ETSU. Samford lost the first matchup. I like the revenge spot. And I love the Citadel plus the 8.5 in that rivalry game against VMI. Yeah. And the fucking Long Island Sharks are a fucking cash cow. Lay the 3. We gotta build a parlay, man, and get out of here. I got like 2 hours of sleep. Gotta watch these games. Money line parlay. What do we agree on here? On LSU? The money line. LSU is 1. Yes, LSU is 1. You're not with me on K-State, or were you with me on K-State? Wait, they're favored though, right?
No, I think.
They're dogs. They're dogs. So what about K-State, LSU?
I'm willing to prove a point with K-State. I'm willing to bet K-State just to prove a point.
Welcome to the party. Let's go. LSU, Kansas State. Where do we go from here? Clemson.
Yeah.
LSU, K-State, Clemson. That's 3.
Scrolling.
You just mentioned this. Oregon State.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Love the Oregon State play.
So let me just put this in before I forget.
Yeah, I can call that. I can call those 4. Those 4 feel like a good 4.
What's it again?
Kansas State, LSU is clinching enough where I don't want to add another leg.
Okay. So here you go, folks. You're round robin. Or we're just.
If K-State fucks this up, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Well, I mean, you could play Loyola Marymount.
No. Let's stick with K-State. Stick with K-State. It's either I'm proving a point and I never bet K-State ever again this year, or they continue to be red hot and I join in on fun.
So, folks, just so you know, we're looking at currently Oregon State plus 185.
What? At home? And they're
at home.
They're 14-1 at home. ATS Kobe.
LSU plus 200.
LSU.
The Clemson plus 215.
Oh my gosh! And then K-State is the baby, bringing it on.
Yeah. Well, what is that one at right now?
K-State, I see. Let's see, Kansas State plus 145 on the money line. So all 4 of those on the money line pay 55 to 1.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Let's go.
Round robin, of course.
Yes. Folks, that's our show. I mean, I don't know if you want to give out anything else. What's your thoughts on your school connected to this? You see this shit? You see this shit?
Yeah. I got some more intel I can't say online.
Okay. Well, we got to talk.
But what I will say is that if there was a gambling ring involving North Carolina A&T, more than likely I would be a part of it. So because I'm not, I don't think the school is really have anything going on here, guys. But I'm telling you, if somebody was making money betting A&T games,
the news broke and you were pissed off. You were like, "What?
What? Where was I at? Yeah. Where we made this decision?" I was so shocked because I'm like, "Ain't no way this is real." Because how did we have this going on and I wasn't on the right side of it? So, yeah.
Yeah, hilarious stuff. Yeah, and I gave out a SWAC parlay last night, folks. Go check out the SWAC parlay.
All right.
And I hit last week on my SWAC parlay.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's out there again. I feel pretty good about it. I think there's some good edge you could find there in the SWAC this Saturday amongst 154 games. So check it out. And Matt Dix in the chat. Last night's show, I love a lot of the MAC Sunbelt as well as from a gambling point of view. It's just the games we can't go through every fucking game in 1 hour.
I'm not sitting here for 4 hours. Yeah. I don't care what they got going on. I'm not sitting here for 4 hours.
Trust me. I think my wife's still pissed off at me from doing a 4-hour show. Folks, appreciate everyone tuning in. Give Terrell a follow on Twitter at @reallyRel__. Check out all of his work. NBA Gambling Podcast, WNBA Gambling Podcast, Betting Pros, all his work with the Betting Pros. So check those out. And I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The College Basketball Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. And Yeah. Check out. We'll be back tonight. Be back tonight. So till then, this is the college basketball experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot.